Herzlich willkommen zu unserer neuesten Folge von Giants Talk. Heute mit Eddie Morales und Valentin Roesch. Yeah, so welcome back, Eddie, to our Giants Talk after another stellar performance against the Salzburg Ducks. This time with 2 offensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
When did that happen the last time?
Last time I scored an offensive touchdown, I was 18 years old in high school.
Last time
So-
when you scored 2?
That's the last time I scored any touchdown besides the kick return.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I played quarterback back in the day in high school, so that was the last time on offense I scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
So 8, 9, almost 10 years ago.
2 touches, 2
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
good
good,
stats.
yeah. Pretty
I'll
good
take
stats.
it.
You're gonna take that, yeah. But also defensively, we allowed 130 yards
Mhm.
in last game. I think defensively we're improving week to week.
Yeah.
What is the key here? What do you think?
I think it's just the way that we play as a unit. Just watching back film, you could just see everyone from the D line, linebackers, D backs, everyone's flying to the ball. Um, I think too a big thing is we all kind of trust each other to, as we talk about in our meetings, just everyone does their job, trust each other as a defense. Let the line do what they do, and have trust in us DBs that we're gonna do what hold
Yeah.
our end in the back. So I just think it's a mix of that and just trusting our play calling, that we've been putting in and we've been practicing, which has worked a lot for us the past few weeks. But I think especially this past weekend, just seeing how everyone's flying around, how we play as one group. You don't have too many people doing their own thing. And I think from that, you see a lot of plays made. Like we should have had 4 or 5 turnovers in that game. With different things happening, but we're making a lot of things happen.
Yeah. It seems like sometimes it's just a matter of time until you
so
can
it
either
happens.
force a fumble
Yeah,
or make a pick.
yeah,
So the longer the team drives on us,
right,
the tighter our coverage
right,
becomes,
exactly.
and we just force people to make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So, which, like you said, this weekend we had a few, so we just keep playing that way, and feel like we have a very good defense here, and I feel
yeah,
like it's been shown the past few games. So it's been good lately.
yeah. So we coming up our last road trip of the season.
You
Prague away.
hmm
This time short week for us. We're gonna practice only Tuesday, Thursday.
hmm
Friday we're already on the bus to Prague. Do you approach weeks like that differently or?
I kind of just I feel like I do it the same. I try not to put a big emphasis on any game because I mean every game is important, especially in a 6 league conference.
Yeah.
You gotta try to win pretty much every game. To at least get in a position you want to get to. But at least for me personally, I take this week the same. Maybe differently in terms of working out and getting my body ready. Because it is a quicker week.
Yeah.
But just in terms of how we prepare mentally and what we do on the field, I kind of take it the same way. Whether we're playing Prague, the Ducks last week, and whoever else we're playing. Um, I think too, just keeping it the way we've been doing. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had success defensively and as a team, throughout the season. So I think it's best just to keep attacking it the
Yeah.
way we've been doing on the field and also with meetings and everything.
How was it in college for you? Did you travel there a lot the day before a game, or was
Yeah,
it?
so in college we traveled a lot. I remember one of my years we had a lot of away games and we had to fly, so we flew to like
Okay.
8 or 9 games. Yeah,
Wow.
we flew a lot in college,
Yeah.
especially my first few years because obviously in New Jersey it's a
Yeah.
northeast state, but our conference was a lot of southern states, so we played like a few teams in Georgia and the Carolinas, which could be 8 to 10, 12 hours away
Mm.
driving. So we flew to a lot of our away games.
Did you then travel on a state day before or the
Always
same
the
day?
day before, yeah.
Always the
So
day
no
before.
matter who we played, even
Yeah.
if it was like a 3 hour drive,
Okay.
um, we always traveled the night before. So it was Monday, say like Saturday we had a
Yeah.
game. Sunday we come back in meetings, lift, kind of light. Monday we had no football, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was our normal 2 hour practices,
Yeah.
and then Friday we would come in the morning, have like a walkthrough practice for like an hour. then we'd have about like 2 hours to take a shower, get food, come back to the facility, and then we'd usually leave around like 12 or 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Whether to go to the airport to fly or if we drove. And then we'd always try to get to the hotel around like 7 or 8 p.m. the night before the game. And then we'd get there, we have dinner, and then we'd have meetings probably from like 8 to like 10:30ish.
Okay.
You know, special teams, just quick meetings, and then we'd have off, and then the next morning was the game. But we always, no matter where, always went there the day before. So it is a little different coming out here because we didn't have so much far rides.
Yeah.
I mean, we flew to some far games. Like we played in Montana, which was almost 7-hour flight. But a lot of our far games we flew to, so we never had like far commuting days.
What was the longest trip?
Probably Montana. They're Midwest, kind of close to the west north, so it was probably like 7-hour trip flight, and then we drove there and back, so that was probably our farthest game.
Okay.
And then a lot of southern games that we drove to, but I did a lot of traveling in college. Yeah, a lot of plane rides, so that's a little difference here, busing everything, but it's cool. It's you can see a lot of things. I mean, obviously going to places like Tyrol and stuff. I mean, you can just look out the window and just enjoy the ride there. So.
But when I was with Milan in the European League of Football,
that
was a lot of traveling.
Yeah, that was
everything on a bus. So that was a 12-hour bus right
far,
there, 14 hours bus right there, 16 hours.
Like that's far.
So that's
that
was really strenuous.
So it's cool. I mean, I'm excited we got 2 more games left, right? So just gotta
2 more games
finish
in
the
regular
last
season and playoffs start.
Yeah. Then we just gotta keep. But I feel like as a team, we're getting to a good point towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
We had a big dominant win this weekend and nice 2 more games to close out.
But I see the same thing now with Prague. Prague, I think that's not a team you can sleep on.
No, definitely,
They just beat the Dragons, beat the Raiders last week. So they're improving from week to week. Getting healthy too. So we saw some receivers coming back for them.
Yeah.
So I think gonna be
it'll be good. Fight. It'll be good. I mean, even last game, it was we were doing pretty well, feeling pretty dominant, and then towards the end they started to score a few touchdowns. But no, it's definitely a good team. But I think what happened to us last week, and with the wins they have, I think mentally our team knows that we're going in to play a good team. The next 2 weeks, because even after the bye week, come back and play a good Raiders team who we only beat by 1 point the first time. So I think we still gotta finish the season strong, regardless of who we have in front of us.
Yeah, it's just
whether it's the first team or the last team, and then just take that into the playoffs with us.
What do you think we need to improve still on defense? Is there anything you say like that's the thing?
Yeah, I think
better next games.
I think just really because we play the run really well. I think defensively overall, just playing through the air and passes, coming down more on routes, and really, I think with this past weekend at least we did a good job taking away the deeper things. Causing some interceptions and DPBUs. But I think to be like fully dominant, if we could come and really, take away those hitch routes, those snag routes, those glance, those 3-step little post routes. I think if we could do good taking those away, I think top down as a defense, we really shut all phases. Like I said, we've been stopping the run well all year. We've been doing really well in the deep passes. I think passing in general, but like I said, those quick game, if we could force them to make a quick game, but also be quick enough and good enough to jump those routes, then I don't think teams really will have much for us. But besides that, I mean, we fly around. I don't think we have much of a tackle issue tackling. We tackle pretty well as a defense. So I think we're in a good spot. And like I said, if we can really, do better at those like quick intermediate stuff, I think we're dominant all the way around. Which is fun to be a part. It's a fun defense to be a part around. It's definitely been a good year so far, but we definitely still got everything in front of us of what we want to finish. So
awesome. So let's continue.
Yes, sir.
And get another win in Prague.
Another win, and then a few wins left, but one step at a time.
All right. Yeah. Back here also Valentin Roesch. Now, how many games did you play now? Is it third game now?
Yeah, 3 games.
Yeah, 3 games. How do you like it so far?
I like it. We have a very strong defense, and I get along with the guys, and there's a nice energy out there. So I like it.
Is everything like you expected it when you first talked with me, when you first heard about the Gast Giants?
Actually, what I didn't expect is that that team is actually pretty young. Uh, it's surprising because there's a lot of great players, even though they're 20, 21. So I was kind of surprised by that. But besides that, no, um, it's a pretty good, great team. I think we can go to that championship this year.
Yeah.
So
But he also took a role as a tutor in French now already.
yeah, I'm trying to teach the guys a little bit.
There are a couple
Yeah.
players who have French in school.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So some are actually pretty good, better than my German.
yeah. Garrett Clark was not that happy, what I heard. But
Yeah.
you're still only talking in French now
No,
with him.
you'll get used to it.
Yeah, that will make him better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good performance by the defense. I just talked to Eddie about it. It seems like we start clicking, and everybody on defense just trusts each other. And the offenses just don't have a lot of space to fit in balls. What is your take on our defense so far?
Yeah, I think, like you said, everybody trusts everybody. There's playmakers at absolutely every position. I don't think we really have a weak point on our defense, and yeah, it also helps the offense to move the ball, and yeah, we're doing a good job.
You were part of a couple of championship teams. What was the key at the end then to win the championship? Because there are probably many teams who have the potential every time, but not everybody is making it.
Yeah, that trust and that energy, that it's something that you can't really put words on, but it's something that you feel in a team, and also the fact that we don't have a weak point that any single team could uh, go to every time. So yeah, I think we have. I don't know enough about the offense, but they're doing a great job too.
Yeah.
But on defense, yeah, I think we got a championship defense for sure. Yeah.
We still have 2 games left in regular season.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about peaking at the right time, improving. I think last game we saw a lot of those things where we had issues in the games before, like Innsbruck away, then also Prague at home, where we had that third quarter where they scored twice against us, recovered an onside kick, which we improved this game. Where you say like, okay, third quarter was shut out in the third quarter. They didn't score against us anymore after the one play before halftime, which was one busted coverage. But other than that, I think we made a big jump here on defense.
I've only been there for 3 games, and I didn't even play all the teams in the league. But from the first game to last game, I can already see big improvement on defense. So yeah, 2 more games to go in the regular season, and then it's playoff time.
Well, what is the biggest difference between the French league and the Austrian league? What do you observe so far? Or is it similar? Would you say?
I think it's much more defensive league here. Smaller scores, but also in France you gotta kind of have 1 or 2 big teams in each division that they're gonna win everything.
Yeah.
Here, everyone.
It's more competitive.
Yeah, it's more competitive. Everyone could go to the playoff, and you see Prague upset the Dragons. That kind of thing is really different. It's a good thing.
Yeah. How many imports are allowed in the French league?
Imports?
Yeah.
You can have 2 Europeans and 2 Americans at the same time on the field. I think it's 3 total.
Yeah.
But 2 at the same time on the field.
Okay, so you often see a QB and a receiver.
Yeah, QB receiver, QB tackle, QB running back.
Yeah. I think that makes a big difference. Used to be in Austria the same way.
Yeah.
Back then it was like, I think 3 Americans and you could have 2 on the field. And it was always really tough then to defend that 1 American receiver with the American QB throwing to him. And you had kind of adjust the defense to, okay, do they bring a running back? Do they bring a receiver?
We can see good European quarterback here, Germans, Austrians.
Yeah.
I mean, our backup quarterback showed up against the Vikings. In France, we don't really have
I think that was the biggest development since this rule change. The team started incorporating also Austrian QBs, European QBs to develop them, and maybe that's the future too. Okay, so if it helps the national teams.
Oh yeah, big time, yeah.
Playing at a high level against good teams. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Let's talk a little bit about Prague. We talked about last game. We had a pretty good game most of the time. What do you expect out of this game?
Well, from what I saw, I never played Prague, but from what I saw, the last games they kind of like onside kicks a lot. So I think that's main worried for the game. We got to work on that. And I think if we stop that for our part on defense, their offense, they got some good playmakers, but they kind of play a pretty simple schemes. So I think it can match pretty good against us.
Yeah, I think we need to be sound all game, tackle really well, because they're gonna throw the hitches, they're gonna throw those screens, but they always have those potential for this yard after catch.
Yeah, and that dual threat quarterback too.
Yeah, we need to contain the QB, tackle well, and I think if you check those boxes, we should do pretty well on defense again, and then the rest is on the offense. Scoring again, maybe Eddie again,
Eddie again,
adding a couple touchdowns. It helps us too. Yeah. Then any words? Final words from you?
Go Giants.
Go Giants. Alright, then go Giants and see you in our Livestream this Saturday. Ja, und das war schon wieder mit unserer neuesten Folge von Giants Talk. Schaltet am Samstag ein beim Livestream gegen die Prag Panthers, gegen die Gast Giants. Go Giants.